Well, children starting school sometimes lash out at other kids and parents can find it really hard to understand why. Dr. Justin Coulson has tackled the problem for kidspot.com.au and he has some answers for our daily dilemma this morning. What can you do if your child is aggressive at school? Dr. Coulson, thank you very much for joining us today.
This is a really hard one, isn't it?
And it comes after we saw that horrific video yesterday of those two schoolgirls in fisticuffs.
Yeah, and then Mum got involved, and that just it gets so ugly. I mean, parents should not ever become physical with their own children, let alone somebody else's child. And when it makes the news, it makes things terribly uncomfortable for everyone. I think that the most important thing to do is remember what not to do. And that's one good example of what is, regardless of how bad the circumstances are, and we don't know the full context of what happened there, and so we probably shouldn't talk about that a lot, but we don't always know what's going on. Parents don't know everything. So we shouldn't dive in and try to
fix it.
Which
I do. So what do you do then if you're concerned, you're not an aggressive parent, you don't hit your kids, but you find that your child is acting out at school? What does that mean and what can you do to try and stop it?
So whenever our kids are playing up, it's usually a result of an unmet need. And it doesn't matter whether they're 2 or 22. There's something going on, there's something missing right now in their life where they're feeling misunderstood, they're feeling hurt, they're feeling like there's something wrong. And sometimes they don't have our capacity for language, they don't have a capacity to forward plan and think through consequences. And so the natural thing for them to do, especially if it's been modelled to them, is to lash out.
But could a child, say, going to school 5 days a week who's only 4 years old, could that be too much? Could the aggression be a way of saying, I don't want to do this, it's too many days at school, I want a little less time here?
Certainly, and you think about it, when you're exhausted after a huge day or a huge week and somebody says something cheeky to you at home, or somebody's not particularly compassionate or empathic to you, isn't it natural to just say, what would you know? Leave me alone. And I mean, adults normally wouldn't lash out physically, but kids don't have the same restraint that we do. They don't regulate their behaviour and their emotions the way that we do. And so they naturally lash out. And it's up to us as parents to say, you know, it's been a big day. Maybe you're just really tired. Or perhaps you were feeling threatened, or perhaps somebody was picking on you, and that can explain the behaviour. And then we just get into this teaching process where we help them feel understood and we start to problem solve with them. We can say to a 4-year-old, what do you think is a better thing to do next time that happens? And then just wait. They'll come up with some great answers.
What would you say to parents then who feel that physical discipline, like sometimes in the mall I see mothers smacking their children on the arm, what would you say to those mothers or fathers that believe in sort of physical discipline as a way of, you know, teaching their kids?
It's not funny, it's ironic. One of the most ironic things that I've seen, and I've seen it happen so many times, is parents will actually say to their children, after maybe one of the kids has hit another kid, they'll go, we do not smack in this house, we do not hit other people.
Mixed messages.
Like we're going to teach them that lesson.
Yeah.
Discipline and punishment are different. Punishment is when we hurt somebody because we don't like what they've done. We take something away from them, or we actually physically hurt them. And punishment is a really lousy teacher. But what does teach children really well is discipline. And discipline is where we actually get involved in we teach them to follow. That's what discipline means. It means to follow or to be a disciple.
Lead by example.
Rules. Precisely. So we set really clear limits, but we don't do it by doing things to them.
Yeah.
We do it by working with them.
I want to take you home.
My wife might have some problems.
Maybe you can sit down with my mum. No.
Dr. Justin Coulson, thank you very much for joining us, and that debate is on Kidspot.com.